our Almighty God, Creator of heaven and earth, Father and lover of our soul, you sit on your throne of mercy and rule with your love and faithfulness. You are full of grace. We acknowledge your presence in our lives. Nothing is hidden in your eyes, even our challenges and struggles in life. We come to you with faith. We ask not only for our daily spiritual bread, but to seek your forgiveness and undeserving favor to heal our land, our family members, our friends and neighbors, even our enemies with COVID-19 and other diseases. Holy Spirit, help us to deepen our faith and see the opportunity to believe, obey, and worship. As we face this pandemic, you are Lord and God. Encourage us and change our hearts, not to fear, but to be full of hope and find ourselves praying and meditating your word. We believe no works of the enemy prosper to your children. Abba, Father, we believe that your Son Jesus Christ is Lord and Savior. He is the truth and our salvation. Hear our prayers, O Lord, and most of all, not our will, but thy will be done. We pray this in Jesus' name, the name above all names, who was and is to come. Amen.
Reaching out to Filipinos worldwide, the now of digital entertainment with studios in Manila, Bacolod, Hong Kong, and Los Angeles, California. This is V81 Radio Worldwide.
V81 Radio, V81 Radio. Ito ang radio mo, ito ang radio ko. V81 Radio, V81 Radio. Dahil mahal namin kayo. V81 Radio, V81 Radio. Para sa inyo ito, V81 Radio.
The views and opinions expressed by the host do not necessarily state or reflect those of the company and its management. Furthermore, the views and opinions of the guests do not reflect those of the host, the show, this station, the management, and the network. Hey, basketball junkies! Are you a beginner coach wanting to build the right foundation for your coaching know-how? Are you a player or a fan in research of the right source of basketball IQ, skills, and more? Well, if you are, BOUNCEPASS is for you. We bounce key foundational knowledge about a game and pass it on to you for practical use in taking their basketball knowledge and skills to the next level. Here now are Coach Mike Perez and Coach James Tolentino as they tackle everything hoops. This is BOUNCEPASS, only here on V81 Radio Worldwide.
Well, Wednesday nights every time at 7 p.m. It's always going to be a bounce pass time with you guys. Good evening. My name is Coach Mike, and welcome to Bounce Pass, to our very special edition for today, specifically about the NBA. You know, the finals just finished, and the Bucks winning and being declared the NBA champs. Ano ba nangyari? Pag-uusapan natin yan. And of course, para tulungan tayong i-dissect ang game na to, at of course, ang ating partner, si Coach James Tolentino, who just fairly recently had his season debut in the PBA. Coach James, good evening. How are you?
Good evening, everyone. So it's been a blast. No? Pati yung NBA Finals na nakapanood ako kanina. So pretty much excited on what we're going to talk about today. And pati yung mga history kung paano nabuo yung Milwaukee Bucks and paano nabuo yung Phoenix Suns, and so on and so forth. Also, the coaches, gusto rin natin i-dissect kung ano ba yung itsura ng mga coaches nila and how they planned for the game and adjusted. And syempre, yung journey ng bawat team, the Phoenix Suns and the Milwaukee Bucks.
Speaking of journey, Coach, nag-start na yung season ng ating very own PBA this year.
Yes, sir.
And we saw you on TV, Coach.
Hindi
Nepa.
ako yun. Hindi ako. It wasn't me.
We're very proud to... Anong feeling, Coach, when you were already in there knowing that you're in an actual PBA game?
It's surreal kasi parang parang feeling mo everyone there's a lot better than you. Pero when the ball is up in the air, parang feeling mo you have to win. Parang ganun pa din. Parang it's the same at the same time. It's not. Parang it's the same kasi you really want to win. It's just a game. You want to compete. Pero surreal at the same time. Parang it's different because you see the people in TV, the people you read about in the newspapers, the people you look up to, the coaches you look up to. Yan. So, medyo kakaiba din kasi wala yung crowd eh. So, walang fans. So, medyo focused kami. Medyo focused ako dun sa mga game lang talaga, sa players, the coaches, yan. And I saw how organized the PBA is. Ganyan.
It's a lot different from yung mga ibang ligang napag-coachan mo, Coach.
Way different, way different. Iba talaga.
Well, speaking of fans who were not there, definitely mga followers natin, mga bounce pass fanatics natin are here joining us. Good evening to each and every one of you. Well, hopefully you get to join in since this is open mic night. Anyone who wants to share with us and join with us here in the live stream, you're always free to join us. Ito, unang-una na natin si Coach Marlon.
Si Coach
Martin,
Coach, pasok ka dito.
Pasok ka dito, Coach. Pasok ka dito, Coach. Siguro, Coach James, if we can share kay Coach Marlon yung if he's ready to we can share with him the link. So
sana pwede siya.
Tingnan natin sana pwede siya.
Sana pwede ka. Hold on, send ko sa kanya.
All right. So while Coach James is trying to see if we can get in Coach Marlon in here and everyone else who wanna join us, let us know later. We'd like to thank first our sponsors. Of course, we'd like to thank JT Financial, Nintay T, Complete Basketball Academy. We also would like to thank DL Cervantes Construction Corporation, Gunita, Villas and Pavilion, which later on I'll give you a little bit of background. You know, alam niyo naman yung Gunita, palagi natin pinag-uusapan yan dito. DHP Glass and Aluminum, J Grit Glass and Aluminum, Spartans 3 Trading Corporation, Table Escape, Sports for anything on dining and kitchen that you need. The local government of Tagudin, Ilocos Sur, specifically special thanks to Mayor June Versosa, M Aesthetics Clinic, Manok na Puti, Grill House, Dexter's Pizza Tunazan, and Marcelo Green Village, Dexter's Pizza as well. The Rotary Club of San Pedro 3820, AAA Security Agency Incorporated, Ground Tech Engineering Services, Hoosiers Clothing for our fantastic unis here on Bounce Pass. I'd like to thank Gibong, Akisap, and Star, of course, for sponsoring us on this. And also Astro Breaks for your basketball card needs. Don't forget to hit up Astro Breaks. And, you know, if you guys are into wanting to have that really exclusive place that's peaceful and serene, well, the best kept resort secret is already out there. It's out in the open. Well, instead of checking in sa mga large resorts, dito na kayo mag-book sa Gunita with only 8 suites. You can pick your own corner in an expansive resort of about 2.5 hectares. You can stroll around the garden, mask-free, and even rent your own ATVs. Super lapit lang nito, especially if you're from the south. Malapit siya sa Padre Pio. They have 4 rooms having its own pool, kitchen, living area. So sure kayo na yung family lang yung mga kasama ninyo. For any inquiries, call up 0956-839-1269. Again, that's 0956-839-1269. So don't forget, Agunita, Pavilions and Resorts, Villas. That's a really nice place if you want to go to. Wow, we really need that break, Coach James. Sarap siguro magpunta dyan sa Ginita. Okay. So now, let's head into the topic for tonight, Coach James. NBA, really sad that it's ending tonight and today rather. And what's even more sad is that, remember na nagkaroon tayo ng episode with Coach Cholo Villanueva. Well, we tried to invite Coach Cholo over but medyo busy si Coach Cholo. The three of us got our, we took our picks. Lahat tayo pinili natin Phoenix Suns. But now, ang nanalo is Milwaukee Bucks. Yep.
But we chose Phoenix Suns. I chose Phoenix Suns at that time because on the premise that Giannis wasn't going to come back.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't going to come back due to the fact that he was injured at that time. I think it was a blessing in disguise for the Milwaukee Bucks that Giannis got injured and got back in the finals because they were able to step up, individually step up, like
Mm-hmm.
Bobby Portis, Chris Middleton, all of them guys, even Brook Lopez, all of them guys was able to step up their game and bring it to the NBA Finals. But again, kaya nga tayo excited nun kasi we wanted emotionally Chris Paul to to win the championship. Kaya nga parang feeling natin mapapadali yung championship dahil hindi na si Giannis 100% at Atlanta yung papasok. And freak of
Yep.
nature and ibang klase talaga yung ginawa din ng Milwaukee Bucks. They got together and gumanda yung laro nila on game 5 of the Atlanta Hawks series, pati nung
Mm-hmm.
game 6, and na-carry over na yon nung pagbalik ni Giannis. Ibang-iba na sila nung pagbalik ni Giannis.
Oo, tama. Parang nang iba yung ano, yung or I would say yung character ng team after nung I think that was game 5 of that series with game 4 or game 5 of that series with Atlanta. Na akala ng lahat nag-fake na ACL daw, no? Buti na lang it's an hyperextended knee. But recall mo coach yung game na yon na wherein si Brook Lopez was the one who led the charge para dito sa Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah, I really think that they were destined to win the championship because going back dun sa Brooklyn series nila, game 2, ayaw na nila eh. You could see in their body language na ayaw na nila. Nakaswerte sila doon, sneak in na game 3 win, tapos game 4 napilay si Kyrie, if I remember right. Tapos, yun, na-shoot, nag-stepping si Kevin Durant, and they marched on the series versus Atlanta. And yung sa Atlanta, alam natin na mananalo sila with Giannis. Where we did not expect that they will win the series without Giannis. So ganun
Yeah.
kalakas yung Milwaukee Bucks. So hindi ko alam if that's a credit to the Bucks or it's that a credit, is the championship a credit to Giannis. Kasi kailangan tandaan natin, nung wala si Giannis, doon nanalo yung Milwaukee versus Atlanta.
Right. Right. Again, that's the game na nag-step up si Brook Lopez and the rest of the team. Talk about ito coach si Giannis Antetokounmpo. I mean, this guy's really a freak, so to speak. No, he's the Greek freak. The Greek freak is now a champion in the NBA. I mean, what more can you ask for? Most improved player. He's been
Yeah.
back-to-back MVPs, Finals MVP, and now a champion at 26 years old. Even way younger than championship. Very first championships of I think LeBron James, Michael Jordan, and compared to the other sports, he's one of the youngest to ever be champion, coach.
Yeah, and what's crazy, he was drafted number 15. So, ito yung mga nauna sa kanya. Anthony Bennett, Cleveland Cavaliers. Victor Oladipo, Orlando. Otto Porter, Washington, number 3. Cody Zeller, number 4. Alex Len, number 5. Nerlens Noel, number 6. Ben McLemore, number 7. KCP, number 8. Trey Burke, number 9. CJ McCollum, number 10. MCW, siya yung nag-Rookie of the Year at that time. Number 11. Number 12, OKC. Number 13 was Kelly Olynyk na napunta sa Boston.
Right.
Na ang tumingin kay Giannis Antetokounmpo, si Danny Ainge. Parang they were really looking at Giannis Antetokounmpo, and then Jabaz Muhammad, tapos finally Giannis Antetokounmpo. Yun. Kaya in their defense naman, that time very raw si Giannis. Remember, kinalaban pa yun ng Gilas, and I think hindi pa siya ganun talaga kagaling, or hindi pa siya develop yung katawan. Who would have thought na maging ganyan yung katawan ni Giannis? Who would have thought na ganyan kabilis yung trajectory ng improvement niya? So it's just a credit to the Bucks organization and to the work ethic of Giannis na talagang mabilis yung pag-improve niya. So yun, nagtulong yun for guys.
Right.
Doon ako naniniwala. So ang daming team owners, ang daming GMs, ang daming agents na pinasemplang ni Giannis, di ba?
Yeah.
Imagine, kung uulitin mo ngayon yun, di ba? Parang it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer draft. It should have been Giannis by a mile. Yeah,
Mhm.
by a mile. Yun yung
Sobra.
kakaibang nangyari sa kanya. And also,
Yes.
yung time na yun, ang naalala ko si Schroeder and Rudy Gobert. Mas mababa sa kanya yun eh. Pero
Mhm.
still, whether si Gobert andyan ngayon, si Giannis pa rin talaga yung pipiliin mo kung uulitin yung draft today.
Yeah. And yung the prospect of knowing that, having the idea na itong si Giannis would be playing kung kinuha ng Boston, no, ahead of Milwaukee, kung pick up nila si Giannis. I mean, that would have totally changed the dynamics. I mean, imagine having Jason Tatum and Giannis Antetokounmpo coupled with the other guys there, Jaylen Brown. That must be some team that Coach Brad Stevens might have had.
Yeah, it could have saved the job of Brad Stevens and the job of Danny Ainge because Giannis can play multiple positions. Can play the number 5. Yun yung naging crucial, di ba? He played the number 5 and he was picking up Chris Paul when Milwaukee adjusted and they put Jrue Holiday on Booker instead of Chris Paul. I think they
Yep.
saw dun sa Clippers na mas nahirapan si Booker with the pesky and quicker guy na si Jrue Holiday.
Yeah. Coach, now let's turn over naman to the Phoenix Suns. I mean, the Phoenix did a good run, no? First round immediately, the defending champs kagad ang nakuha nila. They turned them down in 4-2 in the series, going 6 games. Then following that, they swept the Denver Nuggets, one of the leaders in the regular season, until eventually finishing things up with this Los Angeles Clippers. One of the things that really went their way was they started to gel with these teams that they went against. What do you think is some of the things that you saw na very uncharacteristically na nangyari dito sa Phoenix Suns?
Bago ko sagutin yan, shoutout nga pala sa pinsan ko, sa kuya ko na talaga, hinahangaan ko, no? Si Kuya Paul Alcareza yan. Sabi niya, box win is very good for the NBA. May bilik naman yung idea na grassroots development, nakakasawa na yung mga super team formations.
Right.
That's true. Di ba? Parang drafted si Middleton and Giannis and they built from there. Ilang beses sila heartbroken do sa mga, although favored sila that time, na puro talo nga lang, di ba? Pero ngayon, going back to sa Phoenix Suns, uncharacteristically, nawala yung movement nila, player movement. I think they banked on their one-on-ones with Booker, they banked on the pick and rolls with Chris Paul, and they weren't able to take advantage of Aiton just because Giannis can play Aiton heads up.
Mhm.
No, one-on-one. Walang nawawala. Kaya mag-switch nung Milwaukee. And if you will look at the series, nung Game 7, Milwaukee was running the play of the Phoenix Suns, which is the Spain. Makikita nyo yung Spain pick and roll using Jrue Holiday, Middleton, and Giannis Antetokounmpo,
Right.
which was the bread and butter of the Phoenix Suns in the whole season. For the tournament or for the series, of course, there will come a point in time that it will be scouted. I just felt that
Mhm.
they veered away from their system and relied on their scorers.
Yeah, I think so too, coach. Agree ako dun sa, I think that Spain PNR has been scouted. A lot of the pundits would say, why do the Phoenix Suns run away from their usual sets that brought them to the finals? Well, I guess that's the answer to that. Na-scout rin kahit papaano kasi even yung money play nila, coach, wherein they have that stack in the middle where you have that Spain action with Chris Paul, Ayton, and then you've got Devin Booker coming off in the lane, going up top to curl for a easy jumper. That was almost automatic to them in the previous to the finals. But once they got in, Milwaukee was able to make adjustments na to check that one.
I just think at this level, both ways their plays will be scouted. Their
Right.
tendencies will be known. It will be a matter of small adjustments here and there on how they will hide it and how they will disguise it in order for them to have an advantage in the series. And also, the Phoenix Suns and Milwaukee Bucks is refreshing to watch because both were from grassroots development, as Kuya Paul was saying. Devin
Mm-hmm.
Booker, DeAndre Ayton, and remember, Michael Bridges was
Right.
traded from Philadelphia. Si Michael
For cash.
Bridges, oo. Si Michael Bridges was the son of one of the officers or executives of the Philadelphia 76ers, and he was traded to the
Traded. Yeah.
Phoenix Suns. So, medyo mali ni Brett Brown yon.
Right. Well, you know what, Coach? We've got a bunch of coaches I'm seeing right now on our viewers, and we'd like to invite you
Good evening,
over. If you wanna
coaches.
come in, good evening, coaches. If you wanna come in and join the conversation, just hit us up, and then
Coach Gino to
Coach
ah.
James would be more than willing to send you the link. So I wanna go to Coach Marlon, of course, the head coach of the Pasay Voyagers, saying, yeah, let's take credit of the process. They've been in the playoffs, in the finals, and they deserve the championship. True enough, I think, while everybody was saying, nah, it's gotta be Phoenix Suns because ayun nga, na injury si Giannis, and then there's the story about Chris Paul deserving to get that ring, no? But still, it's a much deserved championship para sa Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah. It was well deserved for the Milwaukee Bucks because they were in the thick of things for several years already.
Mhm.
And to be frank with it, they have failed miserably because they were favored to win, especially when Giannis was running all these stats before
Yeah, I think
a
last
couple
year
of
they
years
just
back.
yeah, last year, coach, they just ran through that wall built by Miami. Kaya, things didn't turn out their
Yeah.
way.
But yun, yun nga eh, was the tournament, the bubble tournament, an asterisk because of what Giannis was saying. They were a
Yeah,
family-oriented team and they wanted to go home. A lot
right.
of teams
They got
that time
homesick. Yeah, uh-huh.
got homesick, and but still, a championship is a championship. They lost, but well, things change. It's a pandemic age. No? We have to adjust. Pansin ko lang dun sa Milwaukee, yung adjustment nila, dumagdag yung players nila playing. Like, Connaughton,
Mm-hmm.
mas sumaba yung minutes. Si Brook
Right.
Lopez, nagkaroon siya ng much bigger role just because he stepped up when Giannis was out. Bobby Portis. And nakakalimutan natin sabihin or pansinin that Phoenix Suns lost a sub. Although he doesn't play that much, but he was really a sub. Si Dario Saric,
Yeah, Dario
used to
Saric,
play
right.
for the Phoenix Suns, and medyo a quality minutes to si Dario Saric because he plays really well. He's big, he's tough, he can play point guard. He started as a point guard when he got drafted. Galing yan sa Europe. Nag-champion yan. Parang ano yan eh, nagkaroon ng time na parang siya yung the man in Europe, si Dario
Yeah.
Saric.
Yep.
So
And
nawala
Saric, I
siya.
feel yung injury, I think na ni Daryl Saric took away that very able backup to DeAndre Ayton once he gets that rest. And Saric could really stretch that Royce in really good in that two-man game, especially on the pick and pop with Chris Paul.
Yeah, they were forced to play Frank Kaminsky instead. Although I really like Frank Kaminsky because I was following him in Wisconsin. But
Mm-hmm.
medyo
Yeah,
nagulo
me
talaga
too.
yung rotation nila just because Dario Saric all throughout the season was the one playing that role. So it's very hard for one to adjust in a matter of days, and especially if Milwaukee was already favored in every matchup except for
Yeah.
maybe the point guard spot where Chris Paul, pero medyo ano pa din dahil J.Ro Holiday andun. So yung Devin Booker na matchup, baka doon lamang sila Devin Booker, pero baka not by a much, but not that much kasi Middleton and all those people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think two players, coach, that's really parang I would say would be pivotal para dito sa Bucks would be of course PJ Tucker and itong si Drew Holiday. I mean, these two guys really brought a lot. These guys are new recruits going into the Bucks. I think Drew Holiday started at the start of the season, and mid-season itong si PJ Tucker. Sobrang, the defensive contributions of these guys are something else.
Yes, but they were taken by the Bucks for that specific reason that they want to go deep in the playoffs. They gave up a lot for Jrue Holiday. You have to remember that. They are betting on Giannis Antetokounmpo and this group. Jrue Holiday, pinakita niya that he can defend the 1 and the 2. PJ Tucker defended Kevin Durant. So yun yung medyo contribution ni PJ Tucker and Jrue Holiday.
Right, and especially that, of course, we can't help but go back to that play when Drew Holiday just picked the pocket of Devin Booker. What do you say about the defensive stand, coach, and the attack that was done by Devin Booker? Do you agree at the way it was executed?
I believe that was a bang-bang play. It was a read by Devin Booker. I think he just had a different decision at that time. Well, I would go for it. I would go for it early just because I want to try to get more attempts at the basket. And just so happened it was a steal or a great play by Jrue Holiday.
But the first question there, alam mo naman yung mga followers natin, the very first question there is that, dapat ba nag-timeout o hindi? That's the question.
We were debating about this. Nangyari din yan sa game namin sa TNT. But every time there's a transition game for us, we don't want the opposing team setting up their defense and change their personnel, matching up with our personnel, so to speak. If we can get anything in transition, we want the play to go on. So sabi nga ni Kuya Paul dito na Giannis will continue to dominate the NBA at least in the next 5 years. Guaranteed 1 or 2 more championships. Yan ang maganda tignan. Just because Brooklyn Nets is around the East. Nasa East yung Brooklyn Nets. And sa tingin ko, malakas sila. And also, kailangan natin pag-usapan na wala yung favorite player ko sa Milwaukee Bucks. The whole playoffs. Si DiVincenzo. My guy in Villanova. Silang dalawa ni Michael Bridges. Gustong-gusto ko sila. Wala siya. So, nandun lang siya sa ceremony. Pero sana, pagbalik niya, it will be a different Bucks team. Iba yung mabibigay nun. And sabi ni Sir Boyet, hi, coaches.
Right.
How about some love to Middleton? Ayan, wala. Yan. He was the Bucks closer during the whole playoffs with 40-point production in Game 5. I think pwede sana kung MVP sila. Maybe good number 2. Pero the MVP for the finals, baka hindi. Pero baka pwedeng co-MVP for the playoffs kasi nawala si Giannis nung latter part, 2 games. Pero for these finals, I believe it was Giannis just because Giannis was playing number 3, number 4, number 5 and guarding Chris Paul at number 1. And yet, scoring, rebounding, and all those things. Pero yes, that's correct. Tama, si Chris Middleton was closing out of games. He scored a lot of big baskets. And that was expected of Chris Middleton. And bagay siya kay Giannis. Kasi Giannis attracts all the help and the kickouts are easy to shoot. Silang dalawa ni Jrue Holiday. But I think it's a second for me. Number 2 si Middleton for me for this final series. But for the playoffs, pwede silang co-MVP or baka pwede pa siya maging MVP just because nawala si Giannis nung last 2 games doon sa Atlanta.
And at this point, I think we're going to be showing a little more love to Middleton and the rest of the Milwaukee Bucks as we go on a break. And when we come back, we'll talk more about the Milwaukee Bucks on winning this championship this year. Take a little peek on the side of the Phoenix Suns. What could have been, what should have been when Bounce Pass comes back.
We'll be back shortly. This is Bounce Pass, only here on V81 Radio Worldwide. an online community for the youth, aspiring entrepreneurs, intrapreneurs, OFWs, SMEs, and social enterprises. Let Dear Door guide you as you build your personal, professional, and business goals. Dear Door will certainly be with you as you embark your journey and achieve desirable results. Write to Dear Door and be inspired by like-minded industry leaders who will share their experiences with the community. This is Dear Door with your host, Tor Villanueva de Maunahan. Saturdays, 6 p.m. Philippine time, exclusively on V81 Radio worldwide. Good news para sa mga kababayan natin abroad. Mapapanood nyo na ang inyong mga paboritong V81 radio shows sa Amazon Fire TV. Simple lang ang gawin. Go to amazon.com at isearch lang ang V81 radio app and click install. Tiyak wala kayong shows na mamimiss dahil mapapanood nyo na ito anytime and anywhere you want. Gamit ang Amazon Fire TV. Tandaan lang, just install the V81 radio app and you're good to go. Another first from V81 Radio worldwide.
Hi, I'm Bob on bass.
Hello, ako si Herbert, gitarista.
Hi, I'm Vic on drums.
Hi, I'm Rai. I'm the guitarist.
Hi, my name is Pretty Karingal of Six Cycle Mind. And Pinoy Music ba ang hanap mo? Download the V81 radio app, available on the App Store and Google Play. Free now, free forever.
V81 Radio, V81 Radio. Ito ang radio mo, ito ang radio ko. V81 Radio, V81 Radio. Dahil mahal namin kayo. V81 Radio, V81 Radio. Para sa inyo ito, V81 Radio.
Now back to Bounce Pass, only here on V81 Radio worldwide.
Welcome back to Bounce Pass. Coach Mike here together with Coach James, and we're talking about the NBA finals, which the Milwaukee Bucks won earlier today. But before that, we'd like to invite everyone. Of course, if you're just new to watching us, you can catch us in 14 different digital platforms. You could catch us in YouTube. You can catch us here live stream on Facebook, and you can also listen to us in the Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcast, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Pandora, and even on Amazon Fire TV. If you have that Amazon Fire Stick, you can watch us on demand there via the Amazon Fire Stick platform. And if you have Alexa at home, you can go ahead and tell Alexa to, there you go, that's the Amazon Fire TV. And if you have Alexa, you can just tell Alexa to play V81 Radio, and they'll hit you up on the latest programs available in the worldwide V81 radio station. So these are different platforms that you can catch us here on Bounce Pass, and I would like to thank everyone for joining us and in this episode. So at this point, Coach James, we've talked a lot about the players. No, now I think it's time that we talk about the coaches. No, Coach Mike Budenholzer and also Coach Monty Williams, both of course coming from the tree of Greg Popovich. I want to talk first about Coach Mike Budenholzer. Sabi natin before, remember when we were with that episode with Coach Cholo, we felt that Coach Mike Budenholzer did not kind of like respond immediately to the situation, especially dun sa Brooklyn series. He's changed since then.
He doesn't like to adjust mostly. Coach Mike Budenholzer is a son of a high school basketball coach and came from the same college, I think, with Coach Pop. So, galing siya dun sa coaching tree na yun, from the Larry Brown coaching tree. So, dun sila nanggaling. Yung adjustment niya, I could see. Nag-run sila ng Spain and he adjusted the defensive schemes and he played Giannis at the 5. Mm-hmm. And it was telling that they were really banking on Jrue Holiday to play well. For this series, Jrue Holiday has the best plus minus for the whole tournament. I think 6.2. And for Phoenix Suns, it's Devin Booker 2.0. So Jrue Holiday was really the one who backstopped the Bucks at this point in at this series na hindi natin masyadong tingnan. Maganda yung adjustment ni Coach Bud when he played Giannis Antetokounmpo at the 5 and put Giannis on Chris Paul as the primary defender and had Jrue Holiday guard Chris Paul and matched up with Aiton and the likes. So I just think that personal wise, mas malakas talaga Milwaukee with Giannis Antetokounmpo. But without Giannis, kung nangyari na wala si Giannis pumasok, I just think na baka na-sweep to ng Phoenix Suns.
Right. Well, of course, Giannis in any team for that matter would be a huge addition. The length, the size, the athleticism, of course, a little bit raw on some of the fundamentals, but I mean, you know, that guy's huge and strong. And in fact, if you look at the stats throughout the series, he's led the points with 35.2. He's led rebounds with 13 apiece per game, and he's also led blocks with almost 1.8 per game. And on today's game, he made 5 blocks for this particular game. And what's nice about yung defensive ni Giannis coach, as we try and bring in one of our guest coaches in here mamaya. What's interesting is the way that he executes those blocks.
Sa akin, coach, of all those stats, yung blocks niya, nagsistay dun sa game, yung mga palpal niya hindi talaga lumilipad. Maganda yun. But the best thing that Giannis did today that's so scary for the NBA na baka magkatotoo talaga yung sinabi ni Kuya Paul na Giannis will dominate the NBA for at least 5 years is yung fact that he scored the free throws today.
Right.
I think he was 15 out of 17 ba or 17 out of 19, something to that effect. And if that is the norm for Giannis, then it will be hella scary to stop Giannis Antetokounmpo. Diba? Isa yun sa mga Waterloo niya. Fina-foul siya, hard foul siya, put him in the free throw line, tease him about the free throws.
He was shooting 17 out of 19 attempts, coach, roughly about almost 90% from the free throws, and that was scary.
If that's the norm, then it will be a big problem for the NBA. Hindi na nila alam kung paano babantayan si Giannis. Kasi,
Coach, I don't know if you'd agree with me. One of the things that I noticed with Giannis also in this series is that, you know, in order to take away the attention from him, nagpa-facilitate na siya eh. You know, he is not playing na sa kanya yung receive. Siya yung nagbibigay ngayon.
I think just because nag-ingat siya eh. Parang when you're coming from that kind of injury, you try to test yourself on what you can just do. You don't try to overpower everything. And I think kaya niya kasi talaga mag-facilitate. Remember, lumaki lang naman si Giannis. Lumaki talaga siya, tumangkad, lumapad, and everything. So, meron talaga siyang guard skills. Yun yung scary thought kasi the Phoenix Suns played really well today. If Giannis was shooting the same way he was shooting before sa free throw line, panalo yung Phoenix Suns. Pero kung ganito talaga, nasa 90% ang shooting ni Giannis, medyo delikado lahat ata ng NBA teams.
Right. Well, siguro, speaking of delikado, kailangan ipasok na natin itong guest coach natin. Isa, mukhang maraming gustong i-share ito. Coach Dino, one of our staple coaches here in Bounce Pass, one of our staple guest coaches. Coach Dino, Enrile, how are you? Of course, from that Coach Cholo basketball program.
Naka-cholo ka pa ko ngayon, ha?
Yeah, no?
Pre-advertisement. And anyway, tama kayo lahat eh, yung mga sinabi nyo. The big difference dun sa laro is yung si Giannis. He deserves to be the MVP. Tao por tao. Kasi kung may Booker yung isa, merong Middleton, may Chris Paul, may Holiday. Paano si Giannis? Sinong katapat nun? Dapat siguro si Crowder eh. May sabi ni Coach James, no, yung si Saric, no, nawala, no? Malaking bagay yun. Pero isa pang big difference sa performance ni Giannis is yung free throw talaga. Talagang that spelled the big difference talaga. Talagang it came through when they needed it most also. Yung free throw ni Antetokounmpo, no? Kaya well-deserved. Ako, sans ako eh. Because for Chris Paul, I want him to get the championship kahit isa man lang kasi medyo ano na siya eh. No? Medyo pa-retire na rin yung tao, no? Pero ganun talaga, destiny yan eh, 'di ba? So I take my hats off to the Milwaukee Bucks. Ang galing. Pati yung si
Yeah.
Antetokounmpo lalo na. 50 points, grabe.
Mhm.
'Di ba? 50 points, 5 blocks, 'di ba? Tapos yung rebounds niya 12 ba o ilan ba? Tapos yung free throw,
Yeah.
yun ang big difference doon.
Actually, pag itinignan mo, Coach, you mentioned one of the players right there, si Jay Crowder. I mean, this guy is the only one that's got finals experience. In fact, back-to-back, Jay Crowder, having been with Miami last year and this year with the Phoenix Suns, he's lost twice in a row already. What do you think are, some things na sana na i-contribute pa lalo ni Jay Crowder? I mean, did he live up to the expectation, or was Giannis really just too much for Jay Crowder?
Well, you cannot take any credit away from Crowder kasi nilaro naman niya yung laro niya, no? Tumi 3 points, dumidepensa, humahasel. But if you're going to guard someone like a 6'11", parang 7-footer na katulad parang Kevin Durant na mahirap eh para sa akin ha. Kasi si Giannis hindi lang points ang ibibigay niya sa team niya eh. Yung katulad nga, yung blocks, yung intangibles, yung rebound. Tapos sabi nga ni Coach James, nagpa-facilitate na rin, di ba? Kasi nagiging decoy siya because he knows meron siyang papasahan ng Middleton, may Jaru, di ba? May yung shooter nilang puti, si Connaughton ba yan?
Connaughton.
Isa pa yun eh.
Yeah, Connaughton.
So, tapos ang big surprise dyan is yung si Portis. Isa pa yun.
Yep.
No? Yung binibigay niya na quality minutes, not only sa points, no, pero parang siya yung bad boy dun eh, yung tumatrash talk, siya yung ganun dun eh, di ba? So, malaking bagay din yun. Di ba? Kasi wala kang makikita ganun ngayon, sa sa Suns eh.
Yeah. Parang diba? Ngayon dito sa panel natin, ikaw ang Bobby Portis namin.
Ang Bobby Portis.
Diba? Ang laking bagay ng Portis eh. Tapos wala yung Saric, tapos may Portis pa. Ang hirap eh. Tapos meron pang Brook Lopez na sino bang babantay doon kay Brook Lopez eh, ang laki rin. You must remember nag 33 points siya ng isang game nila, 'di ba? Talagang iba rin yung Brook Lopez. Kasi sino bang babantay doon? Right. 'Di ba? Right. Mabigat yung lineup na yan, mabigat talaga. Mabigat.
Well, I have a question to both of you, coaches, Coach James and Coach Dino. That Clippers series would have been turned out differently if Kawhi was there. What do you think? Would that have been a different story if the Clippers were healthy and they got to the finals and went up against Milwaukee?
Well, sa akin, malaking bagay si...
Go ahead,
sige,
Coach.
si Coach James.
Hindi, go.
Coach James,
go,
muna,
Coach.
Coach. Sige, go muna, Coach.
Okay. Well, syempre, it would have been different pag nandun si Kawhi, no? You must remember, experienced player, may one championship na rin siya under his belt. Tapos, he's also a go-to guy. So, ang hirap din kung meron kang, yun yung 1-2 punch nila dyan sa Clippers eh. 'Di ba? So, ang hirap pa kung nandun si Kawhi, dalawa na yung babantayan nila dun eh, 'di ba? Wala. So easy picking para sa kanila ang Clippers kasi naka-concentrate ang depensa lang kay Paul George. And si Paul George pagod 'yon kasi he's not only going to play offense, he's also playing defense kasi sinong babantayan niya doon? 'Di ba? So ang hirap para kay Paul George. He really needed badly si Kawhi. It's just so unfortunate, like any other championship series sa NBA, talagang injuries is really a part of the game talaga eh. 'Di ba? Lahat na lang ng finals, 'di ba? Yung isa injured si Kyrie, tapos yung isa na injured ni Kawhi, na injured si Kawhi, ni sino yung sa Golden State, puro ganun eh, may injuries talaga eh. Ito nga lang, itong sa Antetokounmpo, sabi nga ni Coach James, it might be a blessing. 'Di ba? na-injure siya. Tapos ako, saludo ako dun sa team condition nila, sa mga doctors nila, na in such a short period of time, naibalik nila si Giannis in tip-top shape, di ba? So, ang galing din. So, para sa akin, destiny eh. Destiny yung Milwaukee Bucks na yun eh.
How about you, Coach James? Tingin mo, healthy Clippers would have given a different story if they went to the finals?
Of course, lahat naman, basta healthy, different story. Pero baka yung different story din pag healthy Giannis. Pero at the end of the day kasi, it's a team game. Kasama yung doctors ng team, yung medical team ng team, ng organization. Like yung Phoenix Suns, they have been known throughout the years that they have the best medical team or one of the best medical teams in the NBA. Talagang pinupuntahan niya ng mga different stars just to revive their career pag mga injured sila. Pero yung healthy Clippers against the Milwaukee Bucks, I think you're going to look at it on a matchup perspective. Yung medyo mas madaming pang matchup kay Giannis. Kung gaano ba kadami yung pwedeng ibawas kay Giannis. Because they had Kawhi and Paul George as their main defenders. So sa tingin ko, mas kaya nilang depensahan si Giannis than etong Phoenix Suns who had Jay Crowder, Devin Booker. Di mo naman pwedeng alasin basta si Devin Booker kasi siya naman yung sa score pa kabila. So, and also, yung Clippers kasi medyo geared talaga dumefend ng mga wing guys. Hindi lang talaga sila nagtutugma. Pero yeah, again, it's a matter of being part of that system. I didn't expect Milwaukee Bucks to be in the finals because Giannis was gone in that Atlanta Hawks series and they got beaten bad in that game 4 versus the Atlanta Hawks. Tapos nung pagbalik ni Giannis, pagbalik ng game 5, nag-step up lahat and doon na nagkaroon ng mga kumpiyansa sila Bobby Portis, sila Brook Lopez, Middleton had a career night, si Jrue Holiday. Pero those were good pickups. So I think ito na yung team ng Milwaukee Bucks in the future. Ito na yan, dito na sila DDN kasi binigay na nila yung mga first round nila for Jrue Holiday. So talagang they invested in this team and nakuha naman nila and I think it was worth it. A championship is always worth it. Diba? Over first round draft pick or draft picks for that matter.
Yeah, true enough. They invested and finally they got their ROI. Well, guys, this is open mic night. So any one of you would like to join us and hop in, come in and let us know what you want to share. And we'd like to thank Coach Dino for joining us tonight. Before we go on a break, Coach Dino, baka meron kang mga shoutout dyan na gusto mo ipa-shoutout before we go on our
Siyempre
break.
si Coach Cholo, no? Yan ang natin. Kaya ito na nga, Coach Cholo. Cholo camp tayo dyan. Tapos sa Art Circle Gallery. May trivia ako, win or lose, may isang player dyan na magkakaroon ng championship ring. Alam niyo yan sigurado. Diyan sa finals.
Yeah, si Torrey Craig.
Oh, galing, ano?
Torrey Craig, right? Torrey Craig.
Oo, kaya
yun, isa pa yun, na-injure din siya di ba? Na-injure din siya. Isa
yeah.
sa mga missing links ng Phoenix Suns.
Yes, ayun.
That's right.
Ayun lang, maraming salamat, coaches. Maraming
Alright,
salamat.
thank you very much, Coach Dino. And before we go on a break, thank you, Coach Dino. So, BOUNCEPASS will come back, and when we return, we're going to talk about Coach Monty Williams, all his coaching nuggets that he shared that we'll be discussing with Coach James and Coach Mike when BOUNCEPASS returns.
We'll be back shortly. This is BOUNCEPASS, only here on V81 Radio Worldwide. Sa mga Ilonggo, Pantayan sa 2021.
BA1 Radio, BA1 Radio. Para sa inyo ito, BA1 Radio.
Ngayong July, yak tanggal ang inyong lumbay dahil All-Star studded na naman ang inyong Home Not Alone kasama si Papa Gio this July. Stereotype, Bay, Six Cycle Mind, Itchy Worms, Alex Bruce, Jack Newsom, Aliza Buenaobra, and Jem and Christina Academia. Kaya tumutok na Wednesdays and Thursdays, 7 p.m. California time, o Thursdays and Fridays, 10 a.m. Philippine time. Digitally available everywhere. Home Not Alone with Papa Gio this July. Dito lang yan sa V81 Radio, Los Angeles.
V81 Radio, ito ang radio mo, ito ang radio ko. V81 Radio, V81 Radio, dahil mahal namin kayo. V81 Radio, V81 Radio, para sa inyo, V81 Radio.
Hey there, this is Garrett Coleman. Pinoy music ba ang hanap nyo? Download the V81 Radio app, available on the Apple Store and Google Play. Free now, free forever.
Now back to Bounce Pass, only here on V81 Radio, worldwide.
Back here on Bounce Pass, Coach Mike, together with Coach James, we've discussed about the Milwaukee Bucks. Now let's swing over to the Phoenix Suns. Let's start off with Coach Monty Williams. Monty Williams, Coach, ang daming mga nuggets of, yung paano siya mag-coach, no? Talk to us about the coaching style and what you thought of how Monty Williams handled himself in this playoffs.
He was classy. Yan. To best describe Monty Williams, he was classy. I think it's the evolution of the coaches nowadays. You can see how they handle the young players, how they talk to players. So I think it has become more of a communication between the player and the coach, because the power is in the players at this in the professional stage. So we could see how Coach Monty was implementing his rules, and I believe Coach Monty Williams became a better coach when Chris Paul transferred to the Phoenix Suns, just because he was able to rely on that vet, on Chris Paul, to make sure that the guys will toe the line, especially like Devin Booker and all those players, DeAndre Ayton. It's a big boost for Monty Williams, see Chris Paul. I think they had an experience before in New Orleans. So si Coach Monty Williams, I believe, was an All-American back in college. I think na-draft to ng New York Knicks before nag-San Antonio. Ako, nakilala ko siya, o mas naaalala ko siya sa Orlando Magic. Mas nagamit siya ata doon.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned already about Monty Williams being a better coach when Chris Paul came in. Talk to us about Coach when we speak of Chris Paul, when he was excellent in games 1 and games 2. Nung game 2, there was news about na-injure ba yung isang kamay niya, or si feeling pain on both hands. But do you feel na nawala siya throughout the series and lumabas lang ulit nung game 6? Especially with that crucial turnover in, I think, game 4 ba yun o game 5?
I don't think the Phoenix Suns will be the Phoenix Suns without Chris Paul at this point in time. No, without Chris Paul, they might be an eliminated playoff team or first round team, o baka hindi pumasok ng playoffs. With Chris Paul, ganito sila. They're a team to fear. So, yun. I just think, ang feeling ko lang, masyadong mahaba yung minutes si Chris Paul. Hindi siya masyado preserve pagdating ng fourth quarter. For this game, Cameron Payne played well. He shot 4 out of 6. I believe shot 4 out of 6. Got a good plus minus. But he played very low minutes. So, yun lang. For me, they could have made Chris Paul fresher in the end para pagpatatapos nung games. Kasi medyo pagod na si Chris Paul. He has to defend Unlike dun sa ibang games, kayang itago si Chris Paul eh. Unlike here, he has to play Jrue Holiday, who is an all-star when he came to Milwaukee Bucks.
Mhm.
So he had to play both ways. Yun for me.
Yeah, and when you talk about the minutes of Chris Paul, he's been averaging 37 minutes a game at 22 points per game in this series. But somehow, tama ka doon, no? The length of stay inside the court could have told on the body, on the aging body of Chris Paul. And throughout the series, lumabas rin itong mga ibang players na to, like that's not Peyton, that's Campaign, who was a backup point guard. Do you feel that a a good of himself being the backup guard of Chris Paul?
I think it was developed through practices and through time. Kasi nakikita niya how Chris Paul handles the team, how Chris Paul handles himself in practices, in games. Siyempre, the energy feeds off him. Diba? Natututo si Campaign eh. Si Campaign also was a great college player. Diba? Parang hindi lang maganda yung start niya sa Chicago. So he had this chance and maganda pinakita niya. I think one of the players who made money in the playoffs, it was Campaign.
Yeah, and this trio actually did pretty well for Coach Monty Williams. Revelations as such, very young players, and I guess the future is bright para dito sa Phoenix Suns when you look at this roster of young players. But Coach,
Yeah, Michael Bridges and Cam Johnson, both yan coming from basketball pedigree. Maganda yung mga collegiate schools. So maganda yung fundamentals nila. And yun nga, si Michael Bridges, I think pinagsisihan niya ng Philadelphia 76ers. They should have not traded Michael Bridges. Nag-away na yung mommy niya tsaka yung pumalpak pa sila, di ba? So let's talk about Devin Booker, di ba?
Yeah, but I mean, you're right, and I agree that the future is really looking good para dito sa Phoenix Suns. Now, let's go back to Devin Booker. Of course, a lot of the legendary stuff that was messaged by the late great Kobe Bryant to Devin Booker. Well, on the other side, minessage rin, nag-tweet din si Kobe about to Giannis about getting that MVP and getting that championship. But this time around, let's stick with Devin Booker. Do you feel that he was parang pressured as he played in the finals? Well, we lost Coach Jim, so I think one of the things that we've been discussing about Devin Booker on the side with us coaches is that we felt somehow that Devin Booker might have also taken a toll on the series, especially with all those movements that's already being checked by the Milwaukee Bucks. And there we have Coach James again. Coach, before you got cut off, I was asking you, do you feel that Devin Booker has felt pressure heading into the finals?
Of course, he will feel pressure. He's very young, and a lot was expected of him. Of course, social media hype, the media hype, the bright lights, and bumalik na yung fans. Dito man na masusukat. I think he really stepped up. Although masyadong mataas expectations ng lahat for Devin Booker. But I think he really played well. He handled himself well. Although yung stats-wise, hindi masyado maganda dun sa mga ibang games. But then again, he really had problems facing pesky defenders like Pat Bev, Jrue Holiday, who are tough and quick. Doon siya nahihirapan eh. Pero yung tough lang or quick lang, kaya ni Devin Booker yan.
Yeah, coach, including si PJ Tucker, who also guarded him at one point, di ba?
Yeah, oo. Pero I think favorable ang matchup ni Devin Booker versus Tucker. Just because Devin Booker can do his pull-up jumper off a dribble when facing Tucker. Although he cannot go to the post, he can use his quickness against PJ Tucker. And I believe he will choose quickness over power when playing the game. So I just think the future is bright for Devin Booker, and he was right. And we should put our hats off to him Kasi he accepted Chris Paul as a mentor. Remember, bago dumating si Chris Paul, yan na ang boss ng Phoenix Suns, scoring 71 points, super sikat niya, the Andre Ayton coming back. Team niya na yung Phoenix Suns. When Chris Paul came, he embraced it. Tinanggap niya yung duties to win the championship. And andito sila, dumating sila dito sa point na to, they beat the Lakers, diba? They beat the Clippers, and they're here. Ang bigat ng mga pinagdaanan nila ng Phoenix Suns.
Tsaka feeling ko, Coach, no, while si Devin Booker scored 40 points in a couple of the games, feeling ko those 40-pointers were parang very difficult for him to have produced. It's not like he got it very easy. I guess dahil din sa depensang binibigay sa kanya, Coach, no?
Yeah, I believe they saw the LA Clipper game series wherein Pat Bev was really on him. As Coach Cholo was mentioning, they were trying to gauge him off his second dribble after that float dribble that he really loves. He decides the game from there, whether to shoot, pass, or dribble, or attack. And I think in the future, I believe Devin Booker can be a lot more like Rip Hamilton at the hybrid version of Rip Hamilton. Can shoot the 3 points, can attack the basket. So that's a very nice compliment to Devin Booker.
If there's one parang aspect of the game of offensively, I would say, for Devin Booker, anong tingin mo na kailangang ma-improve or ma-enhance nitong si Devin Booker?
I think on the offensive end, more on the pick and roll. Yan naman ang, I think, level up niya on using the pick and roll, scoring of the pick and roll, setting up his offense of the pick and roll, his teammates of the pick and roll, having assist passes, hockey assist passes in the pick and roll. Yun na yung level up ni Devin Booker. But I strongly believe that if he just continues the way he's doing right now, he'll be one of the best players next year. Devin Booker. Ngayon nga, one of the best players na siya.
Yeah. One of the things that I noticed with Devin Booker, and I know you guys still watching us could go and check out the games. One thing that I noticed with him, pagka naka half court set and the defense is in front of him, the tendency is always to go left. He doesn't have like a move going right. Let's say one dribble pull up to the right, or going right to a spin move. Wala siyang ganun. It's always going to the left. Do you think that's something that's he's forced into because of the defense, or talagang wala siyang ganung move going to the right?
I believe he just prefers to go to the left because he can do a lot of things going to the left. He can pull up, and his tendency is to float the ball so he can shoot and put it in his right hand or his right side pocket for a shot or a drive. So, mas gusto niya yun. Kasi pag sa right, mas nahihirapan siya sa mga pull-up doon eh. And binibigay din sa kanya yung left. They're trying to force yung defense, ganun din. But I believe he's really strong to the left. Ang dami niyang pwedeng gawin doon.
Okay. Well, there's been a lot of discussion pertaining to this one, and yeah, the Milwaukee Bucks really just going home with the title this year in the NBA. Coach, your parting shot before we end tonight's episode.
I would like to thank everyone who follows Bounce Pass, and hope you guys continue following us. We're here to share our knowledge to you guys, and really thankful for spending time with us. Appreciative of all you guys, V81 Radio, thank you very much. And to all our sponsors, thank you very much. Hope to see you again next Wednesday.
All right. So, well, on that note, go, Coach.
I thought naghang ka. Sorry. I was supposed to pick it up for you.
So, well, yeah, I mean, again, we'd like to thank everyone who've been supporting us here on Bounce Pass. And we sincerely appreciate you for joining us. Last week's episode on the Triangle Offense with Coach Mike Sagigit was one of the best so far that we've run. And, if you didn't catch it, you can go back and watch that episode as well. And next week, We have very interesting episode next week, and I'm sure a lot of you guys would like to watch that one. So anyway, Coach James, in behalf of Coach James and to all the men and women of V81 Radio, Migs for making us really good at the back, and Diane for helping us out with the digital stuff, and Rally, of course, for the support, and Dor, everyone else behind V81 Radio. Thank you very much for the support. And to you, our viewers, we hope you continue to support and watch us every Wednesday here on Bounce Pass. Again, in behalf of Coach James, this is Coach Mike. And remember, if it's anything basic basketball, Bounce Pass is your page. Good night. Good night. Good night.
Hey, basketball junkies! Are you a beginner coach wanting to build the right foundation for your coaching know-how? Are you a player or a fan in research of the right source of basketball IQ, skills, and more? Well, if you are, BOUNCEPASS is for you. We bounce key foundational knowledge about a game and pass it on to you for practical use in taking their basketball knowledge and skills to the next level. Join Coach Mike Perez and Coach James Tolentino as they tackle everything hoops. This is BOUNCEPASS every Wednesday, 7 p.m. Philippine time. Only here on V81 Radio, worldwide. Naghahatid saya sa mga Pinoy, mga kanta at programang Tatak Pinoy. Napapanood at napapakinggan kahit saan ka man. Streaming worldwide. This is V81 Radio.
Malayo ka man sa iyong pamilya, dito ay hindi ka nag-iisa. Tiyak ito'y iyong hahanap-hanapin, dahil ito ang nagpapasaya sa atin.